Welcome to Korean Cinema Channel. Today I would like to send you the following news. Something feels different this time, and viewers noticed it instantly in a recent interview, when Liu Xiaoxu was casually asked about his former co-star Guo Yuxin. The atmosphere shifted in seconds. His eyes froze for a brief moment. His fingers tightened unconsciously. The smile on his face didn't quite reach his eyes. It was the kind of reaction you don't rehearse, and definitely don't fake. Netizens immediately caught on, flooding comment sections with one sentence: "He still hasn't walked out of Floating City Lovers." The contrast only made it more striking. When Guo Yuxin was later asked about the same collaboration, her response was calm and professional. "I'm grateful for the experience, no lingering emotion. No hesitation. Just a clean, actor-to-actor answer." That emotional asymmetry hit audiences hard. Floating City Lovers wasn't just another hit drama. Last year, it exploded to over 25 billion views, becoming one of the most talked about short dramas of the year. The rain breakup scene, where the two characters stood soaked, exhausted, and helpless, went viral across platforms. Many viewers admitted they couldn't rewatch it without tearing up. The pain felt real. Too real now. Guo Yuxin is filming a new project in Qingdao, moving forward with her career at full speed. Liu Xiaoxu is also busy with a new film, but fans can't shake the feeling that emotionally, he's still standing in that rain. Online comments quickly split into two camps. One side aches for him. "He loved that role too deeply," one comment reads. "You can tell he gave his heart to that character." Others urge him to let go. An actor shouldn't be trapped by a role forever. It's beautiful, but it's over. What makes this situation resonate is how human it feels. Actors don't just memorize lines, they live inside emotions for months. They build relationships in fictional worlds, only to walk away when the camera stops rolling. For some, the exit is clean. For others, it lingers like a bruise you don't realize you're still touching. Liu Xiaoxu has always been known for immersive acting. He doesn't play roles, he becomes them. That's why his performances hit so hard, and why audiences feel protective now. They see a man who might still be unpacking a story that ended long ago. But Guo Yuxin's calm response also deserves respect. Professional distance doesn't mean coldness, it means survival in an industry that never waits. She honors the past without living in it. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Maybe Liu Xiaoxu isn't unable to move on, but simply hasn't rushed himself to forget. And maybe that's okay still. Fans hope for one thing above all, that he eventually carries the role forward as strength, not weight. Great performances should sharpen an actor, not imprison them. One viewer wrote poignantly, "I hope one day he can look back at Floating City Lovers and smile, instead of hurting, because the best ending for a love story, on screen or off, is knowing when to let it rest." To put it bluntly, Liu Xiaoxu's reaction does make people feel that he hasn't fully stepped out of the story yet. When an actor shows such visible emotional tension years after a project ends, audiences naturally start connecting the dots. In contrast, Guo Yuxin's response felt light, composed, and unmistakably professional. "Grateful for the chemistry, we were just work partners." One sentence, clean and clear. That gap in emotional posture is exactly what makes this situation so compelling, and so unsettling for viewers. It raises an unavoidable question: is Liu Xiaoxu still struggling with the painful emotional entanglement of Floating City Lovers, or is this simply the residue of an actor who invested too deeply? Fans aren't accusing him, they're worried. In their eyes, this isn't gossip, it's concern for someone who may have carried the role for too long. Industry experts have pointed out that after Floating City Lovers wrapped, the drama became a phenomenon almost overnight. With 25 billion total views, a nomination for annual Best Emotional Drama, and multiple viral scenes, it was more than just a success, it was a cultural moment. The rain breakup scene alone generated millions of reposts. Within days, related hashtags surpassed 10 million discussions, proving how deeply that story cut into collective emotion. And that's exactly the danger of a role like this. When a character's pain becomes public property, the actor who embodied that pain often gets trapped in the audience's memory. Every interview, every pause, every flicker of emotion is interpreted through the lens of that one story. Liu Xiaoxu isn't just Liu Xiaoxu anymore, he's still that man standing in the rain. Psychologists specializing in performance arts have noted that emotionally intense roles can blur boundaries if actors don't have enough recovery time. Short dramas, in particular, are deceptive. The filming cycle is fast, but the emotional compression is extreme. Actors dive straight into the core of love, loss, and obsession, with little room to gradually enter or exit the role. When the project ends, the character eaves, but the emotions don't always follow. Guo Yuxin's apparent detachment might look cool, but it's also a form of self-protection. She acknowledges the past without letting it define her present. In a fast-moving industry, that clarity is often the difference between longevity and burnout. Her response doesn't erase the sincerity of the performance, it simply places it where it belongs. In the work for Liu Xiaoxu, the road forward may require something harder than immersion, release. Fans hope he can take what Floating City lovers gave him, recognition, growth, depth, and then set the rest down. No role, no matter how brilliant, should become an emotional cage. Ironically, what audiences love most about him, his sincerity, is also what puts him at risk. But sincerity doesn't have to mean self-consumption. It can also mean knowing when to close a chapter. As one netizen wrote softly, "I don't want him to forget that role. I just want him to be free of it." That may be the most reasonable wish of all. The truth is, the waters behind this story run far deeper than they appear. Even though both actors have already moved on to new projects, the shadow of the old role still lingers, refusing to fade quietly. Discussions about Floating City lovers continue to resurface, wave after wave, as if the emotions never truly reached a final scene. For many viewers, it's not about shipping or speculation anymore, it's about empathy. A growing number of fans are voicing the same hope, that Liu Xiaoxu can free himself from the emotional weight of that role and step into a future that belongs entirely to him. He has proven his talent, his dedication, and his ability to move audiences. That should be the starting point of his journey, not a ceiling that traps him in one painful memory. But this also leads to a more uncomfortable question. When emotions are magnified by traffic, algorithms, and endless replay, who do we trust, the narrative we see online, or the reality the actor is living? Is it fair to keep holding someone inside a character just because the story once moved us? Or are we, without realizing it, becoming part of the pressure that makes it harder for actors to let go? Perhaps the real takeaway isn't about whether it's over or not. It's about learning to respect the boundary between performance and life. Great actors give us unforgettable characters, but they are not meant to live inside them forever. Growth, after all, is the ability to carry experience forward without being chained to it. So what do you think? Do you support Liu Xiaoxu in stepping out of the shadow of his past role and moving toward a stronger future? Tap a like if you're rooting for his next chapter. Share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever struggled to let go of a chapter in your own life? And if the story resonates with you, pass it on. Sometimes, a little attention and understanding can be the gentlest form of support for an actor who truly deserves it. Thank you for watching my channel. See you in the next videos. Thanks.